There we go. Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. It's Wednesday. Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. It's Wednesday. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Coach Eb, your favorite wake up coach. Y'all know what it is. It's Wednesday. It's Wake 'em Up Wednesday. Every single Wednesday, we come right here on this platform, right here on YouTube for my series, Wake 'em Up Wednesday, where we are talking about turning our pain into power. This Wednesday, I have another very special guest, another one of my cousin brothers that has come to sit in a power seat for us to have a candid, real, raw conversation. We talking it up, we chopping it up. It's been a minute, so we about to get in where we fit in, and I'm going to introduce to y'all and then allow him to introduce himself. I'm going to present my cousin brother, Alex Change Smith. The floor is yours. Introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
What up, what up, what up? I appreciate you having me. My cousin sister, I am Alex Smith. I am the middle child of 6. You actually seen my oldest brother on here, Boosie. You seen my youngest brother on here, Aaron. Now you get a chance to see me. I'm ready to get it. And like she said, we cousins. We've been rocking since we were kids. And let's have some fun. We family. Hey, let's have a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it. That's what's up. Listen, so y'all, we about to have this conversation. This, like I said, this is real raw, candid, no edits. Okay, there is no edits. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever is said is said. So Change. Tell me about a time. Tell us about a time where you had a negative situation, something that was on your nerves, something that bothered you, something that was a burden, something that was a pain for you, and you took that pain and you had to turn it into power. Go ahead and let us know what's going on with you.
Okay. So there have been many of instances where pain has run rampant in my life. I'll put it like that. And before I get to the pain part, I want to talk about the power part. And I had to look up the definition of power, not because I didn't know what it was, because my first thought about power was somebody that's physically strong, or somebody that has a bunch of money and can influence people. Elon Musk, president, an NBA player, football player, whatever. So I had to look it up and okay, let me see what the actual definition is. And the definition of power is the ability to do something or act in a particular way. And that right there kind of hit more home for me, because the ability to do something, anybody can change what they do or how they do something, or they can act in a particular way. That's a choice that you have to make. So everybody has power, but you have to know how to access that power, how to act, and how to, do something. And for me, my power, it's very simple. It's, I had to change my thought process, how I thought about things. I had to be more patient with people and situations. I had to process information first. A lot of things will happen where I didn't process information, and I would just act off of my emotions. I call that, what I did, I called it being emotionally impulsive. And I want you to keep that in mind, that phrase, emotionally impulsive. I'm gonna come back to that. Another, way I use my power is I control my emotions now. When I was emotionally impulsive, I had to learn how to control my emotions. And I have to be slow to hear. I pray. I seek God. I just try to be a better version of me than previous versions of myself. So with that being said, how I got here is kind of I won't say a long story, but I have to go back to the beginning of where the pain started. And, not too long ago, I heard a question. I think I might've been on the internet or something like that. I heard a question where somebody was asking the guy, "Are you okay?" And I had to ask myself that question. And I'm gonna ask you that same question. When was the last time you was okay? Because for me, the last time I can really say I was okay, I was a child. I'm 42 now. Think about that. The
I
last time I was
think
really
about that.
okay,
I have to think about that for real.
yeah,
Because
think about it.
like the last time where everything was cool, everything was copacetic, and hey, I ain't got to worry in the world. I'm okay. I'm good. That's literally childhood. Okay,
A childhood. I was a child. The
I
last
got
time
you.
I can say I was legit okay, I was a child. And it's not until probably within the last year I can honestly say, like, yo, like I'm really okay. I ain't got all the money in the world. I ain't got the best place to live. I ain't living in like a Roach Motel or nothing like that. But you know what I'm saying? It's like I can sit here and honestly say I don't really worry about nothing. I'm not, worried about money. I'm not worried about, how the bills gonna get paid. I'm not worried about, the job I'm working at. It's just like, yo, I'm really okay with where I'm at right now. And I know it's gonna get better because I've been at the bottom, and I mean the bottom. And I've been at the top where I'm not worried about nothing as far as like monetarily, but I've never been in this space where I can just say, yo, I'm okay. I'm cool. I'm not too worried about nothing. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, let's back it up a little bit to where I started not being okay. And what I'll do is I'll start where my youngest brother Aaron actually kind of started with the situation with him and our dad, because I was there for that situation. Um, and prior to that, like, okay, if you know the Smith household, the yellow house, if you know about that, you know what that meant. That meant a good time. He was gonna come over, have some fun, have some good food, because my mom could throw down. You know what I'm saying? And it's just gonna be, it was like a place of love. But that was the perception of it. But in actuality, there was a lot that went on in that house. I'm not saying, it was like super bad or nothing like that, but how we grew up is, I can say now, hindsight is 2020, things could have been a lot different, like how our parents raised us. But so the situation with Aaron and our dad, um, I watched that in real time. And prior to that, I think he said he was about 17 at the time. So that would have made me 20. But 2 years prior to that was when my brother went to prison. So the dynamic of my family started to change. The relationship between my parents started to change. And like I said, I'm 20 and I'm watching all of this stuff happen in the house. And it's just like, it's getting uncomfortable here. But I went through it and just tried to make the best of it, not knowing that this is stuff I needed to talk about. This is stuff that I really need to understand, and nobody talked to me about it. Our parents didn't talk to us about it. The situation with my brother, our parents didn't talk about the situation with them, what was going on. It's just like, okay, things are happening, but we're not going to talk about it. And for me, I internalized a lot of the stuff that I saw because I didn't have the tools to process the information, and I didn't have nobody to talk to about it, or at least I thought I didn't. I don't know. So the situation with my brother, like I said, he went to prison. The situation with my youngest brother and my dad, and the situation with my parents, like in their relationship, just kind of, uh, fizzling out. Like over time, like I said, I'm seeing this stuff happen, and by the time I get 21, it's just like, yo, it's like, yo, for me, it's like, yo, it's too much for me.
Yeah.
So I met a young lady at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we dated for like 3 months, and just randomly, we decided to get married. Think about that. I meet some chick 3 months later, I decided to marry her.
That's a big
Now,
deal.
yeah, it's not that I wanted to get married at that time. It was more that I was running away from what was happening to me. I was running away from the situation with my brother going to jail. I was running from the situation with my parents because I can see that them separating, the relationship going their separate ways. I felt the energy in my house at the time just change. And it's like, yo, I don't want to be in there. I don't want to deal with that. So, hey, I got an opportunity to go build my own family. And that's the decision I made. Emotionally impulsive.
Wow.
Because of what was happening in my house, I made an emotional decision and I got married at 21. Now, like I said, not say I wanted to get married, it's just, yo, hey, I ain't got to deal with that. I'm going to go deal with this over here. Go do my own thing.
But that relationship escape of what was going on.
Exactly.
Escape for you. Gotcha.
It was an escape for me. And because I made that decision, like, it was a lot of pain that came with, that marriage. It was a marriage built on the physical, and that's it. Mm-hmm. It was strictly built on the physical, nothing else. Like I said, I wasn't thinking about getting married to her, but because of my situation at home, I was like, yo, I don't want to deal with that. So let me go get married. But that whole relationship, it was toxic. And unfortunately, I learned about marriage being married. Like, think about that. I learned about being married and what marriage is by actually being married. Nobody talked to me about it. I didn't have no conversations prior to it. It's just like, yo, I'm just gonna do this. And the crazy thing about it is, like, it affected my siblings and my parents, but I don't know to what extent. And at the time, I probably didn't even care because it's just like, yo, I'm gonna go do my own thing. You know what I'm saying? So that pain of that marriage kind of set some things up for my next relationship. And my next relationship, the kind of same similar situation where, okay, so I end up getting divorced from her. And then 3 months later, I meet another chick. And we
press pause.
Yeah, I bet.
Little tissue, flag on the play. Wait, okay. So, wow, and wow again.
Yeah.
Okay. Brother going to prison. You watching what's happening in the home with Aaron, for example. You watching what's going on with your parents. Let me go escape. Let me exit stage left because this is too much for me. Let me go do my own thing over here.
Right.
So leaving, and dare I say, leaving something that felt toxic to you, walking into something else that was toxic for you, something that you said. Ooh, and that runs kind of deep because I feel as if growing up, and this is and listen, this is my podcast, so I'm gonna say what I want to say. Okay,
say what you gotta say.
Growing up, I feel as if something as a child and going into my teenage years, the only thing when it came to marriage that I was taught, don't have sex before marriage.
Right.
That was the conversation.
Yeah.
We churchgoers,
exactly.
Of the apostolic faith, water baptized, Holy Spirit filled, tongue talking, all of that. Yep. No sex before marriage. That's how we grew up. So That's what we were taught. So when situations came up, like you spoke about, there was no talk about going to therapy. There was no talk about getting life coach, seeing a therapist, speaking to somebody. I was taught to pray about it.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. Just pray about it.
Pray about it. That's it.
That's it. That's all. That's it.
That's all it takes. Pray about it.
That's it. But as we have now, we see there's a little bit more going into this than just prayer.
Exactly.
I can pray the house down and still be messed up here because you know what? I pray, okay, I gave this to God, but it's still something mentally that I need to work on.
Yeah,
Wow. That
yeah,
goes deep in how we were raised and being raised in the church. Just pray. That's all you need to do. Okay.
right. Yeah,
Gotcha.
like you said, that's what it was. Like pray and everything will be all right. But they don't teach you or give you the tools to know how to deal with that relationship. All they say is, "Oh, pray about it." And what's the scripture? Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Which I'm not knocking. I do agree with that. But at the same time, you have to know how to navigate a relationship, a marriage. There
Yes.
is work that needs to be done in that marriage by both parties in order for it to be successful. In order for it to last, there are things that need to be done. You have to communicate. Like that is like number one. You have to communicate, and both parties have to be willing to do that, or you just like it's not gonna work. Because
Okay.
I've experienced that myself. Like I experienced in my marriage where I'm trying to talk to her and she's not reciprocating what I'm trying to say, or she just kind of nonchalant about it, or we don't want to. I ain't gonna talk about it. Just kind of sweep it under the rug. It's like, yo, like, what we doing here? What we
Been,
doing here for real? Like,
been
I
there.
want
Sure.
this. Do you really want this? You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but yeah, that whole marriage thing is it was a tough lesson, and like having to get divorced was something I never thought I would do or even had to do, because when I got married, like I never thought, or it was never a thought that I might get divorced. It was like, yo, this is, even though how it happened, you know, I would never suggest anybody do it like that, but this is the person I married. So in my mind, it's like, yo, I'm gonna be with this person forever because I'm married now. That was it. No matter what was gonna happen, no matter what issues we ran into, it's just like, yo, I'm gonna be with you forever. That was my mentality. No matter what, I'm gonna be with you forever. But then to have to actually go get divorced, like that was heartbreaking. So heartbreaking because, like I said, it was never a thought, and it was so hard. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna move on. Like it was so hard for me that I was at work one day and I was interviewing for, I think it was like supervisor position, and they asked me the question, and this is like not too long after I got divorced. They asked me the question, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" Now, when they asked me that question, like I broke down and cried in the interview, only because it triggered what just happened to me. Because she was supposed to be a part of the plan. She was supposed to be there the next X amount of years or whatever it was. So for them to ask me that question, it was never a thought, oh, what's life going to be like without her?
Wow.
And then I had to actually think about that. And it's just like, yo, my reality hit me again where I'm divorced. And I don't know what the next 5 years is going to look like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was very painful. But it's a lesson learned. I've grown from that. And I know what to do next time. But let's continue on. So
Hey, it's on you. Go ahead,
yeah,
cuz.
let's continue on. So like I said, all these things are running together.
Yeah.
The situation at home, growing up, didn't like that, didn't know how to process that. So I decided to get married. And that relationship didn't work out. So 3 months later, like I said, I met my next girlfriend, and I didn't give myself time from getting divorced to meeting my next girlfriend. Like I said, 3 months had gone by. 3 months, I met my wife. 3 months later, we got married. I met my girlfriend after my divorce. I met my next girlfriend 3 months later. We was together for like the next 6-7 years. But me and my ex-girlfriend, like again, it started with the physical. Like these relationships that I have been in, have started off wrong. So these are decisions I'm making, choices I'm making. This is what I call me. I'm inflicting pain on myself by the decisions I'm making. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm making these decisions that's causing myself pain instead of just giving myself time or, being patient about, what's going on and just thinking about it and processing the information. But I didn't have the tools to be able to do that. So me and her got together. Like I said, it was built on something physical. We got together and it's another toxic relationship where, I'm not healed from my marriage and I'm bringing all that baggage from that marriage into this relationship. And I'm hurting her and she's hurting me. And we just going back and forth. It's just, you know what I'm saying? And you know what happened in Puerto Rico. We know about Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying?
We know about Puerto Rico. We know
Puerto Rico. So,
why are you funny?
Hey, somebody owe me some mofongo real quick.
I said we go back. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I said we go back.
I need some mofongo. Somebody owe me. But anyway.
Some foil mofongo.
But yeah, our relationship ended up being toxic. And it got so toxic again to where I end up being emotionally impulsive again. And just leaving that situation. I'm not going to say exactly how I left. It was pretty bad. I left pretty bad. I kind of regret doing it because it wasn't right. But like I said, I just didn't know what I was doing. I just knew how to do something. So that was me being emotionally impulsive and just up and leaving one day. And it hurt her really bad. So that led me to Houston, where I stayed with my oldest brother, Boosie, which I've seen on here before. And then that whole Houston experience, I'll say it was the most painful time of my life today. Anything I've ever been through prior to that, don't even compare by a mile. Like Houston was so bad for me that, like I said, I would never go back to Houston. Just because it left that bad of a taste in my mouth. Wow. And what ended up happening was, like I said, I broke with my ex-girlfriend and I moved to Houston. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna get to Houston, I'm gonna start over, it's gonna be great. And it wasn't that. It was the complete opposite of that. So like for the first year, I was jobless, without a job for a whole year. And bills are coming in. I ain't getting no money, but the bills are coming in. They don't stop. They won't stop.
That won't stop.
Right. So and within that year, I ended up suffering a really bad injury. I ended up, and I've never told nobody this story. I told a few people the story, but like nobody in the family like really knows this story of what that was for me outside of Boosie, because I just didn't talk about it. Like I don't even know how people found out about it because I didn't say nothing to nobody. But within that year, I ended up suffering a broken leg. June 29th. It was a Wednesday, like almost 3 years ago. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, I go to the gym. I'm ready to hoop, and you know, I get to steal on this guy. We both go, the ball go rolling. We both go chase after it. He dives for the ball and rolls over, and he rolls onto my leg and snaps it in half.
Ooh.
And
wow. When
it happened, it sounded like a big tree trunk snapping in half.
Wow.
Because it was the tibia bone. It wasn't the fibia, the fibia bone, the smaller bone. It was the big bone. The big bone snapped in half. And I'll never forget that moment. That moment lives in my head rent free, kind of. That's how bad it was for me. And I'm gonna get into that. But so I'm laying on the basketball court, like 15, 20 minutes before the ambulance came. And in that time, like everything's going through my mind. It's just like, wow, this really just happened. And I've never been injured before prior to that. Like, and I'm 40 at the time. This is my first time ever having a major injury. I've had a fractured wrist when I was like in middle school, but other than that, like I've never had a major injury. But you have to think about what has happened. I'm already jobless for a year. And within that year, I suffer a broken leg.
Mm.
Now now I have to go get surgery to get fixed. That's more money that I have to pay when I don't have any money coming in.
Right.
I'm jobless. So all these things are starting to weigh on me. Like, how am I gonna pay for this? Like, I can't do anything now. I really can't do nothing now. So I go to the hospital, I have the surgery, and I actually I end up having they end up putting a rod in my leg. So I have a rod in my leg now it was initially to stabilize the bone so it could heal properly, but you know, for them to go in and take it out, it wouldn't be worth it. So with that injury, like my world shattered because of that.
Yeah.
And it was just like everything leading up to that. It was just like, this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I end up mentally broken, emotionally broken, spiritually broken, and physically broken. Like, I'm broken all the way around. There's no getting around it. There's no getting past it. And just like, yo, I'm at rock bottom. This is rock bottom for me because I'm almost ready to give up.
Yeah.
To an extent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm in the hospital. I call my mom on the phone. No, I call my brother while I'm at the gym and it first happened. I call him, you know, meet me at the hospital. When I'm at the hospital, I call my mom and I'm just bawling. Like, Mom, I'm hurt, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I just can't stop crying because I can't believe this just happened. It's like, yo, life is already bad. Like, this is just the worst.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's just trying to encourage me and everything. And like I had the surgery. I'm in the hospital for probably like a day and we go home. But I can remember the car ride home. I'm crying in the car because just the amount of pain that I was dealing with, you know, just car just boom, 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 and just hurting me. So we get to the crib and it's just a process I have to go through at this point where nothing I do is going to speed this up. Nothing I do is going to fix it. I have to go through this. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to. Because who wants to go through pain? Especially this level of pain. Who wants to go through this?
That sounds excruciating.
Yeah. I'm like, God, why is this happening to me? Like, yo, what's up? Like, I'm trying to do better in life. And then I get hit with another roadblock. It's like roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. It's like I take 2-3 steps forward and I get knocked 10 steps back. That's what it felt like for years. Like, I'm trying to improve, I'm trying to do better, but I keep getting knocked back. And the crazy part about it is, I won't say the crazy part about it, but going through that, it taught me a lot. And it kind of made me who I am today to an extent. Mm-hmm. Going through that process of having to, you know, rehab and get better and everything. It was life-changing because I didn't have nobody to turn to. And what I mean by that is, I don't want to say I didn't have nobody. My brother was there. In context, my brother was there. Yes, Boosie was there. He helped me the best he knew how. But at the same time, Boosie had the job he has to go to. Boosie has, I think at the time, he was trying to prepare for another competition. Mm-hmm. So he's going to the gym and whatever. So he's there when he can be, but when he's not there, there's nobody there but me.
Right.
So I'm having to physically pick my leg up off the couch, stand up, get the crutches. If I need to go to the bathroom, if I want to get something to eat, I have to do all this stuff myself. There's nobody around if my brother's not around. And that in itself was painful because it's like, I don't want to say I took for granted just being able to walk, but I kind of took it for granted. When you lose something that is just, you don't even think about, and now you have to think about it, it's just like, yo, this is life right now.
So we never really realize the things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
Like our everyday taking a breath, getting up. Oh, let me get up and go grab me something to drink out the refrigerator. Like, you know, it take us like this, but when that's stripped away from you, taken away from you, wow, like that's something to think about. The things we take for granted.
Yeah, and you know, after it happened, like the first 2 weeks, I cried like nonstop every day. I cried because, like I said, I didn't want to go through this. I'm having to pick myself up to go to the bathroom. I'm having to pick myself up to go get something to eat. And it's like, I'm hurting. It's just like, oh God, why am I going through this? And it sucked. It got so bad to the point where I've never been suicidal, right? Never in my life have I been suicidal. But my suffering was so bad that I started to understand why someone can commit suicide. Because for me, my suffering was so bad, I thought for a moment that, you know, I would rather die than have to continue to suffer like this. Like, I would rather die than continue to suffer like this. But
yeah,
like, I had to quickly snap myself out of that.
Right.
Because if I kept going, if I went down that road, that it's like, yo, so many people would be hurt. And I can't do that to people. The people I love, my family, I can't do that to them. So I had to dig deep within myself and find something that was going to get me out of that. And what I turned to was I had to turn to God. Like, honestly, I had to turn to God because it had been so long since, you know, I had, you know, been in the church or even, you know, really thought about, you know, God. Like, I left Michigan in 2011 and moved to North Carolina, and then that was kind of like the downfall of me going to church. I hadn't been to church since 2011. And then now I'm doing my own thing, and I'm hearing God call me, hey, Alex, you need to come back. Alex, come back to me. Alex, I'm like, nah, I'm cool. Nah, I'm cool. I didn't verbally say it, but with my actions, I'm saying, nah, I'm cool. I don't want to do that right now. But they say, what, sin will take you further than you want to go and keep you longer than you want to stay. And that's the situation I find myself in. It's just like, yo, I'm cool being over here because I like it right now. But then, hey, when God come and get you, God come and get you.
you seen the videos on social media where the dude coming with the little green plastic bag and yanking people. He'll come snatch you up real quick.
And that's what happened to me. I got snatched up real quick with, you know, the situation that happened with me in Houston. So I said I had to turn to God, and all that stuff that was instilled in me as a, you know, kid growing up. You know, all those Saturdays I saw my mom walking around the house praying and singing. Like, I had to lean on some of that stuff because a lot of the stuff that was in me, I really couldn't find. It was buried beneath some of the stuff that I wanted to do. Some of my own pleasures, some of my own thoughts, some of my own ideas. That stuff is buried. Like, those scriptures in me were buried. So, like, one of the scriptures that I really held on to is it's Psalms 34:19. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of them all. And in my affliction at that time, that's the scripture that helped me the most because I was so afflicted with this injury and mental, you know, pain, physical pain, emotional pain. Just like, yo, I'm really afflicted right now, but the Lord delivered him out of them all. So that's what helped me kind of get through. And then, you know, I just started speaking to God like every day, like, God, I need help. I need help. I'm not gonna make it. I need help. I need help. Like, for 6 months, I'm going through this process just to be able to walk. 6
Mhm.
months, I'm going through this pain just to be able to walk again. And I'm asking God every day, like, God, I need your help. I need your help. Because mentally, I'm not there anymore. Physically, I'm not there anymore. Emotionally, I'm not there anymore. And the crazy, this is the crazy part about it. It's like my ex-girlfriend, like when it happened, like I said, me and my ex broke up. I ended up moving to Houston, but I reached out to her and I was trying to work things out with her. And I'm talking to her on the phone. I'm talking to her on the phone, and I'm telling her like, "Yo, I just broke my leg, and yada yada yada. I'm not okay." And she's like, "Well, I need such and such from you." And I'm like, "Yo, I can't give you that right now because like mentally, I'm not able to do that." And she was like, "Okay, well, I can't do this anymore. I gotta go." And that even that in itself kind of broke me even more because I wanted her there because I was going through so much, and she was supposed at the time she was my person. She was someone I wanted to be with, regardless of what was going on. And even though I left and yada yada, I was trying to work things out. And I understand her situation. I understand her point of view, but I really wanted her there to help me get through it. But that wasn't in God's plan. God's plan for me was, bro, you got to go through this by yourself. Like, I've been calling you. It's time to put your big boy pants on. Put your big boy pants on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, I need you to communicate with me. That's what God was saying to me. I was like, okay, I get it. So like so 6 months of just chilling in the house, on the couch, trying to get better. Thankfully, somebody, this guy I hoop with, his name was Shannon. He came through and gave me some calcium pills to kind of help my bone heal faster. And thank God he did, because I think that helped quite a bit in my recovery, at least as far as my bone healing back up. So that happened, and when that happened, okay, I'm like a big basketball person. I love to hoop. Anybody that knows me know I like to play basketball. But because I couldn't play because of the injury, it's just like, I'm 40. Like, can I really get back on the court now? Okay, if I do get back on the court, what am I going to be? So I decided, like, okay, I want to be better than what I was. So what I decided to do, I decided to get a trainer. And even through my injury, I got on the court. Well, after I was able to walk again, sometime, I got back on the court and I started training with him. And also training with Boosie in the gym a few times. Even with that, like, that was painful, going to the gym with Boosie, because I couldn't lift what I would normally lift. And I'm feeling the pain in my leg from it being broken. It's just like, here we go again. Like, more triggering because I've been hurt. So I get the trainer, and every Saturday for the next year, actually, like, I didn't get back on the basketball court for a whole year.
Wow.
Just because, I didn't really start rehabbing it until probably like 3 or 4 months later. Just because mentally I wasn't there. I wasn't ready. And this is another thing I want to say, like, going through all of this stuff, like, I realized I had to allow myself to not be okay. Like, when I got hurt, I really had to allow myself to not be okay. And I had to allow myself to not be okay so I can process everything that was going on. So that's kind of where I learned how to process information, how I learned to process my situation. Like, in that moment, it's like, okay, what's going on? How are you feeling? How are you going to react to it? Okay, what are you going to do that's good? What are you going to do that's bad? While I'm laying on the couch, I'm thinking all of this stuff. Okay.
You checking in with yourself.
I'm checking in with myself because I'm not okay.
Right.
But I'm allowing myself to not be okay so I can be okay. And however long that takes, I'm going to give myself the grace to get there, because I want to be okay. I don't want to not be okay. So I'm gonna give myself whatever time is necessary to be okay. And for me, that time was, I don't know, it's from the time I got hurt probably till, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. So it's a long process because there's some PTSD that still exists. There's some trauma from that. Like, I would everything's on TV, and it had nothing to do with basketball, but it would just trigger me, and I would go back to that moment where I'm laying on the basketball court. It's cold, my leg is broken, and I'm all there by myself. So I would have plenty of moments like that, to where that something would trigger me and the PTSD would kick in. So kind of moving along with the story, I end up, like I said, I love to hoop, and I wanted to get back on the court, and whatever it took me to get back on the court, like, I was willing to do it. I hired a trainer, and I wanted to be better than I was before. So I hired a trainer. We got to work every Saturday. We went through a lot of different drills, dribbling, shooting, strength, rehabbing my legs just so I can, walk again, run again. And even in that process, it was tough because I'm not able to do what I used to do. I can't run, can't walk. I can't do the moves I used to do or whatever. So time went by, after like I said, that year and training with him, just doing all that different stuff, I was able to get back on the basketball court, and I was a lot better than I was. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if I stayed where I was at in that pain and just continue. Okay, oh, woe is me. I'm gonna just stay here and whatever. It's like, no, I can't stay here. I have to act in a particular way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to use my power that I have, and I have to, I have the ability to do that, and I allow myself to do that. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of my story. And even now, like, the story continues. Like, I'm not where I want to be, but I know the future is bright. Like, right now, I'm having to start over. Like, I moved back to North Carolina about a year ago, and I'm having to start over. But like I said, I'm okay. Like, I'm not worried about nothing. I know God's got me, as long as I seek the kingdom first and I keep him first. Like, it's amazing the things that has happened already. And it's just like, once I started doing things, okay, I'll say this, like, I was so used to controlling my life in every aspect. For years, I controlled everything that I did. I never really went to God about anything. It's just like, yo, I can do it. I'm cool. I know how to do this. But then when that control got stripped from me, it's like, you're not as in control as you think you are, my boy. So,
Right.
and I learned that, through my injury. Like, I had no control over anything at that point. I just had to be in God's waiting room and let him do what he needed to do with my mind and my heart. And he did a ton of things that I'm grateful for, even though it happened the way it happened. I don't particularly like. I wish I didn't have to go through it, but I had to go through it to get to where I am now. You know what I'm saying? So, like, today, like I said, I'm not where I want to be, but I don't worry about nothing because I know God got me. And I know, like, as long as I keep him first and keep him on my mind and, keep my mind stayed on him, he'll take care of the rest, whether that's monetarily, mentally, physically, not mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Like, I trust God to do what he's going to do. Because, like I said, since I've been here, like, it's been amazing. Like, I met a young lady that no,
Yeah, I got excited. Sorry.
no, because like it's amazing how you can meet somebody and it's like, are you real?
Like, for real?
Like, for real? Like,
Let me see.
they
Oh, you real? You real?
right? Like, they build them like you, like, for real. But it's not
Yeah.
nothing I did. It's just like, I asked God for some things and he showed up.
That's it.
He showed up, like, and she dope. Like, she dope, bruh. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, paying into power is just like, you just have to go through the process and trust God through the process and allow yourself to not be okay so you can be okay. I think that's a big thing for me. Like, we go through a lot of different things, and even though we're not okay, sometimes we can stay there and live in that moment of not being okay. But you got to find a way to be okay. However that works out for you, or whatever you choose to do, find a way to be okay. For me, it was trusting God and seeking God first. And I ended up being okay. Excuse me. But yeah, that's kind of my story, you know.
That's so dope. That is so dope. Okay. So you said something that stuck out, and you keep saying it and you keep saying it. You was like, I have to go through this. I have to go through this. I have to go through this. A lot of times I don't deserve this. I don't got to deal with this. No, you have to go through this. And it's
Yeah.
something I actually just said like maybe a couple of days ago, something like that. You have to go through what you're going through to get to where you're going, if that makes sense. It ain't a race. This is your journey. And then the fact you said is your journey ain't over. You still on this journey.
Yeah.
It's not a cakewalk, but you said I'm not worried about nothing emotionally, mentally, spiritually, because God got me. And like you said, he had to come snatch you up to say, hey, a lot of people we want to I said this to Kim the other day. I was like, man, I wonder if God gonna say, Ebony, you're going the wrong way.
Right.
He gonna
Yeah.
send something that's gonna snatch you up and strip you of everything.
Yeah.
Like literally strip you of everything, so you have no control. Because us as human, we love to be in control of our lives. We love to be in control of our relationships, situationships, of our money, of our job, of our day-to-day, what we do. We love to be in control of that.
Yeah.
But when it's time, he gonna have to do a little something that's going to get your attention, which is what sometimes like with me last year was a low for me because I was stripped of everything.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, because I was stripped of everything, okay, you can't do what you used to do. You can't get out here and, be all and travel like you were doing before. You can't go do this, go do that like you were doing before, because you were in control. I need to show you, you're never in control. So let me swipe up all of this and take all of this away from you so you can see who is your real source.
Right. Exactly.
And get back to me. I'm your real source. I'm your real provider. I never left you. You walked away from me. So let me do something dramatic he is going to get your attention. Whatever that looks like, you specifically, it was like you said, while playing basketball.
Yeah.
He came and got you where you were, as you were, and was like, okay, he didn't leave you, because look at you now.
Right. I'm still here.
You still here. You back playing ball.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
It's been a minute though.
It's coming. It's coming. Okay. But your mental, where your mental is, it's better than what it was. And something else that you said while you were down, you was like, I can't stay here.
Yeah.
I can't remain in this space mentally.
Right.
And for the things that you experience to take your mind to a place of, I understand the people that come out and say that they want to commit suicide. I now understand how they get there. How, because they must be at the lowest point for them to be like, you know what? Is it really even worth me being here to have to deal with this? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
So the fact that God kept you the way that he kept you, and even during times where he was like, I know this is going to get him to turn back to me, to come back to me, to spend that time with me, to talk to me. And the reward on the other side, what you said was, I don't worry about nothing. I don't worry about how these bills gonna get paid. I don't worry about the day to day, because no matter what, I know who my provider is. I know who my source is.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And I know who to run to.
Yep.
And you said you had to be left by yourself because he was after you, not nobody else that was around you. He was after you. So you had to be by yourself and go through that in order to get that relationship reestablished,
Yeah.
back with Christ. That is so dope. That is so dope. Oh, let me see. You said a lot. What type of advice would you give someone that feels like right now they are at their lowest of the low? What advice would you give them to remind them you don't have to stay at the lowest of the low? You can rise above.
Right. I would say, like I said before, just allow yourself the space, the grace to not be okay in that moment. Because what I found was me not being okay, it allowed me to process everything that was happening. And allowed me to kind of put things in perspective. And then also allowed me to really understand, like you said, like we were saying, like who's in control. Like God is in control. Like at that moment, you can be at the lowest of your lows and there's nothing you could do about it. But if you go to the source, if you go to God, He's gonna bring you out of it. It may take some time. It may not be as quick as you want it to be, but He's gonna bring you out of it at His appointed time. You just got to stick with the program. You got to be in that. You got to be in God's waiting room, just praying, and So that's what I would say. Just give yourself the ability to not be okay, so you can be okay, and find God. Like allow Him to be who He is. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. Listen, this has been an amazing conversation, an amazing conversation. I have learned so much in just this hour that we have been together and been on here. Is there, before we go, first of all, I thank you for sharing your story. I thank you for sharing your story, your testimony, your lows, your high, and even then where you are now is a high, but it's not your highest, because you already said that you're still on that journey and you still have more to go. So you are going to continue to elevate, and you are going to continue to take off, and you're going to continue to not have to worry about it because God got you. So I appreciate you for sharing with us. And it sounds like some of this stuff that he just said, y'all, wasn't exclusive. We the first ones to hear it. So I soak all this up. So if you just now join and go back and catch the beginning, because you missed what was good, okay? So go ahead, go back and catch that. But do you have any last words that you want to share? Any encouraging words, anything for anybody that is watching right now, or anybody that has come back to catch this replay?
Any last words? Anything encouraging that I want to say? I'll say Marlon Wayans said something profound for me. He said, "Find God before He comes to find you." So I'll quote that: "Find God before He comes and finds you." Because if He comes and finds you, you may not like the way that He comes and finds you. I've experienced that firsthand. God having to come and find me in the way, in the fashion that it happened, I didn't like. So find God before He comes and finds you.
That's it, y'all. Y'all heard it. Find God before He comes and finds you, because if He come find you, you may not like the way that He comes in and picks you out from wherever you are, however you are. Something important that is coming to my mind in this moment is to come to God as you are. Okay, things can change. You can be that better person. Come broke, come toe down, come however you are. You built up, come to God. You tore down, come to God. You brokenhearted, come to God. It don't matter how you are. he is able to fix, mend, and put you back together again. Okay.
Right.
Listen, again, Alex, cousin, brother, change. I
Yeah.
thank you so much. I thank you so much. Thank you so much for your yes. I appreciate you. You are well on your way to moving forward to doing bigger and better things. And don't you ever forget that. I'm so proud of you. I am so happy for you that
Thank
you
you.
are in such this peaceful place. I can see it and I
I,
can feel it. I see
I
it.
am.
That's
Yeah.
what's
Thank
up.
you.
You
Thank
are
you for having me. Like this is very dope. Like I'm proud that you doing what you're doing over there with this podcast. Like the few ones I've seen, like they've been pretty dope. So continue to do what you're doing. Like you're gonna impact a lot of people.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. And you ain't finna get me to cry, so we finna get up off this thing, okay? So listen.
All right. Yeah.
So up until next Wednesday, y'all know what it is. I have let me see. I have another cousin brother. I have to think of who was coming next. Another cousin brother that is coming to light up and fire up this power seat. Another story that y'all ain't even gonna see coming. All right. So up until next Wednesday, once again, Alex, I say thank you so much. I love you so much and appreciate you.
Love you too, Cuzzo.
Yes. So y'all, up until next Wednesday, y'all know what it is. We'll see y'all then for another Pain into Power story. Holla. Peace.
That was fun.
That was dope. Oh, that was so dope.